Welcome, everybody, to the Give It Podcast, the podcast for blurs, for nerds. If you have a fandom, you are most certainly welcome here. Of course, I'm the host of the most, Black Spartan. Of course, to my left, your right, depending on how your screen is flipped. Of course, I have Short Guy Joe and Tafari TV. How you fellas doing tonight?
It's Friday.
Thank God it's Friday. Joe?
I worked a half day. I am now extremely tired. I worked a 49-hour work week, which is not as bad as some people think. But I also got this wonderful dinosaur axe today, too.
You were not
that
supervised.
Transforms into a shotgun.
You were not supervised again, weren't you?
I mean, that's one of the very few things. It eats the metals.
Good God. Well, with that being said, guys, we are the Give It Podcast. Of course, we are a little bit more older, so we do try to watch our language, but sometimes words do fly. At the same time, guys, we do show videos and trailers on here. Some of them may be not intended for younger viewers, so viewer discretion is advised. Aside from that, welcome. So before we get to our anime, because we do want to get into that, just a few things we want to get out the way first. I got to start with the idiot that used to be ahead of Blizzard. I am talking about Mike Ybarra, who has sat there and said, outside the dumbest things that he has said, but he has said this, that not only of the fact that gamers should not own their games, but he's also saying that, well, the idea, there should be a feature that lets players tip to the developers of special games. He said, quote unquote, he would like to give more money to developers because it was worth more than my initial $70, and they didn't try to nickel and dime me for every second. He knows $70 is a lot, but it's an option, but it should be an option at the end of games. I wish I had at times. Some games are just that special. There's a reason why he's no longer the head of Blizzard for dumb ideas like this. First and foremost, games, unless you've won the lottery, everybody's got to watch their budget on what they pay for games. And again, of course, let's be honest, games have always been 40, 50, 60. History has proven that very few games have rarely been under the $40 mark. That is also true. But to basically ask the consumer to tip developers, isn't that just, I don't know, idiotic? I mean, what do you guys think?
Unless he means like indie games having a feature, then yes. I don't know why him or landlords think they need to be tipped for anything.
Joe?
I mean, if we can only tip them and not tip him, I'm all for it.
But that's just the thing. It's like, I know there are some games that do offer, there are some games out there that do offer the ability to donate to the developers directly, but they've actually got it streamlined to where it goes to the developers. It doesn't go through the company. It doesn't go through a third party. It goes directly to them. But my thing is, for a guy who was the head of at one time a successful video game company, you would think that if you want to pay developers more, shouldn't that come out of your own goddamn pocket? I mean, if you believe developers should be paid more for their work, how about you pay them?
Right.
Why ask the consumer to pay them is my question. What were you going to say, Tafari?
I was saying, why they maybe pay your employees?
I mean, that to me would make the most sense. But again, that's just me, and it's the reason why I say Mike Ybarra is an idiot. But I want to move on to happier news because I'm gonna let Tafari take this one because again, he has the best reaction to this news. We did talk about this on Blurred's Eye View. This was also being brought up here as well that the internet is reacting to the casting of Shadow the Hedgehog as he will appear in Sonic 3, which will be no other than Keanu Reeves himself. Tafari, I'm gonna go ahead. I know I usually go to you for this reference, but sir, that you had the best reference as to why Keanu
I know a lot of. Yeah, I just want to. I need Shadow with guns. That's it. I need to see the stick get pulled, and I think they have Maria cast. If they have not talked about it much, but
right,
she is the Shadow what John Wick is to that damn dog. So I know it's a kids movie, but someone's getting shot. Hopefully,
I mean, pretty much, yeah. But this is basically them as far as, of course, to the dark place, otherwise known as Twitter, where it says baffling Sega had a character so insanely popular that he could carry his own multimedia franchise and basically did nothing with him for 15 years and relegated him to a Vegeta type. Well, damn, I guess that's how you felt.
Basically, and honestly, he's been great in Sonic Prime.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm still happy about the news, though. I mean, granted, we are getting a Sonic 3. I'm sorry, go ahead, Fire.
No, I was trying to find it because they put I meant to send it earlier. They had like a Year of Shadow trailer, and they're dropping just all kinds of like random DLC and like every mobile and PC and like Sonic thing they have, and it's glorious. They're just gonna ride this thing out until December.
Oh,
I'm fully okay with that.
Well, we got time. Hang on a second. I think you just sent it.
Yeah, just put it in the because I don't know why it took them so long to upload it.
Short. Oh, well. Guess that was.
Meanwhile, I'm more hype about this than the Knuckles show, and I like both.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, and that's kind of what I'm going into next, because Knuckles. I mean, don't get me wrong about Knuckles. We are going to get to see that. I think it's the 26th, so I think Paramount released that on Friday of next week.
Next Friday, yeah.
Yeah, next Friday. So, yeah, let's go ahead and see that because we do got to.
I do have a thought about Knuckles. I do want them to start doing one thing right now. Tafari, make this fan edit. Start getting Shadow the Hedgehog clips and start editing Johnny Silverhand quotes.
Why?
Why not? They're both using a minigun. They both use guns. They're both assholes.
Why can I hang on? Why can I see that Johnny Silverhand's voice coming out of Knuckles?
I mean, they're both Keanu Reeves.
I'm sorry. I correction. Coming out of Shadow, but still, wow.
They're both Keanu Reeves just fan edited in Johnny Silverhand quotes to Shadow the Hedgehog.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so we got Idris as Knuckles. We got Keanu as Shadow.
That's a fair point. You not too far off from Phantom Liberty at this point.
I'm hoping we get a Rouge the Bat introduced in this show because
that needs to be Angelina Jolie.
I promise, Elizabeth, we're not gun happy, but the characters we have are a little bit ammo happy. We can't say anything about that. I'm sorry. Do I mean to cut you off?
My thing turns into a shotgun.
Mine's for my alarm clock.
Oh, good Lord. That being said, guys, we do have a sneak peek at Knuckles season 1. So we'll go ahead and play it because wow.
No, I need Buster Rhymes to be Vector the Gator.
We need to talk about our little red barbarian friend. I could use some backup.
Knuckles is just having a little trouble adjusting to his new home. It wasn't easy for me to understand this planet at first either.
When did you start getting so wise?
I read a lot of cereal boxes. Also, I had a family that was patient enough to let me figure things out. So we have to do the same with Knuckles. Let me talk to him when the time is right.
All right, Sonic. But in the meantime, do you mind asking him to get our dog off the roof?
Concentrate, Wolf. An attack can come from anywhere at any time. You must have steely focus. Stelia. 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 Stelia!
You know what? I think now is a good time for that talk.
Yeah, I think so too.
Now, if that's how the show's gonna be, I'm good. But as you can see, guys, we are getting a six episode event. It is starting next Friday on April 26th on Paramount Plus. I'm sorry, Joe's gonna have that in my head every time I see Shadow. I'm gonna be expecting a Johnny Silverhand quote now.
I agree with Elizabeth here. He has to look at a gun and just go, "You're breathtaking."
I'm telling you, it's gonna be space, it'll be Space Colony Arc, and the second Maria goes down, it's up for everybody.
Steelier. No, I mean you're probably right though.
Like
but still,
I said, you just start putting in. You just got to put in Johnny Silverhand quotes.
Just the Johnny Silverhand is gonna kill me. Is you know what? And the sad part is CD Projekt Red will be like, go ahead, sure. They'll probably sign off on it, like, yeah, sure, go for it. We want to see what this turns out to be.
Do it.
Do it. But also the other trailer we have, we've kind of been indifferent on this one because it is Transformers 1, and I know Tafari, you had some reserves about this as far as wanting more about it, but did you want to elaborate on that, or you want to say it after the trailer? Not
even that. I just felt like we didn't really get like a heads up. We kind of got like a poster, like a 5-minute interview with CinemaCon, and that was about it. And then we didn't really, especially now that you announced that and a G.I. Joe cameo crossover is happening, but we didn't really distinguish if they're connected or separate. I didn't even know this was going to be done in this fashion. Like this, I just have questions. I don't dislike it. I know the Transformers fandom is like split right now. I do think the launch, the space launch was cool though.
Joe?
Okay, so I can actually answer some of this. And the director did a recent interview. He said that this movie is so far in the past, it can be used for any movie, be it the Bayverse or the Beavers.
Okay.
What we are only seeing is the early part of the movie. He said this is only the early part of the movie. The big crux of this and antagonist is the friendship of D16, which is Megatron, and Optimus. And he says things go 86 really quickly in this movie. So stuff's going to get really, really dark really fast if you don't know what 86 means.
Well, it's interesting. Well, let's just see what it's about. So for everybody, guys, this is Transformers 1.
Hey, what is up, Transformers fans? Well, this is it, Brian. Our trailer is about to drop.
Oh, man, I can't wait.
I can't wait either.
Oh, yeah, then let's drop it.
Here it comes. Let's do it.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
The Transformers 1 trailer starts now.
Do you want to do it? That's good. I like that.
I like it too. The Transformers 1 trailer starts now.
So, how long do you think we'll be here? I'm not talking to you.
You know what? We are so screwed.
Thought you weren't talking to me. You two, come with me. Report to Waste Management.
Hi there, I'm B127. I'm actually working on some nicknames. The one I'm floating right now is Badassatron, which is actually pronounced Badassatron.
We're gonna call you B.
I know we're just lowly worker bots who can't even transform. Don't you want to see what's out there? There's a reason no one goes to the surface. It's dangerous.
Why'd you bring jetpacks?
If we survive this, I'm gonna kill you!
I accept those terms.
The surface.
It's beautiful.
You have proven yourself worthy. Take these and access your full potential. It's time to show them we are more than meets the eye.
We can transform now.
On 3, 1. It's working! Where's my head? How do we use these things? Oh, look at wheels! I need wheels! Woo! Guys, that's not good.
We've got these powers for a reason. Let's use them.
We stand here together as one.
Whoa! I got a battle mask! It appeared with this guy. Knife hands? I have knife hands!
I can see that. These are not the bad guys.
Why did you cut the door?
No, it was already like that. Right?
Yes, that's right.
Yes.
It was.
Yes.
Yeah, it was already like. Yeah, that's right.
And that, guys, was the trailer for Transformers 1. As you can see, we'll be in theaters. They keep the big thing I've noticed is that they say only in theaters now. So I guess we can finally sit there and say that we're no longer be streaming. I guess that's the best way to say it. But I'm for it. There's no way I could put that. The fact that you turn Bumblebee into a destructive person once he has powers, that's gonna be fun to watch anyway. But I can see what you're saying. I can see what you're saying, Tafari. It's the, not if you want to see more about it, and I get that. But I mean, it's a story that can sell itself for it to be an origin story.
That's my thing. I'm like, are we selling itself or are we selling a verse? Because we literally just got like 2 Transformers movies announced, and like we got like no heads up whatsoever. We just got a trailer, which again the launch was cool.
Mm-hmm.
I like that this is a lore heavy Transformers. At least we're seeing like an origin.
Yeah,
I feel like
there are like 3 different continuities within this film that I have already noticed.
What's that?
So first, go ahead and finish your thing, Tafari, because I got a big long thing.
Okay, so I can't. I was expecting more of a, because the voice seems mixed differently in each scene. So I feel like they're going to go from. That was also what threw me off. I thought it was going to be like them doing their best version of Autobots, not just them as Autobots. Why am I still holding the gun? Not just them as Autobots, but from what it sounds like, we might hear them like mold their voices into what Megatron and Optimus become. Because it's very much like teenage, just regular workers at this point, and I think we watch them grow.
Yeah,
I feel like everyone's saying like, why is B talking? Is he gonna get his voice box ripped out this movie? But if he's gonna get people getting 86, then I give it a fair chance. But there's still the people who like grew up in the old shows were like, yeah, this feels accurate. And you got the people who are in their 20s now who grew up on Michael Bay movies and are like, this is not what I grew up on. So Transformers fans are kind of split right now. I'm giving it a fair shot. Other people are upset.
Okay. So it doesn't take.
I'm sorry, go Joe.
It doesn't take much to split the Transformer community. First, we had Truck versus Monkey. Then we had Big Rig versus Fire Truck. Then we had Mouth versus Faceplate. Then we had Tank versus Gun. Then we had Everybody's a Combiner versus Nobody's a Combiner. It's like Star Trek and Star Wars. The slightest thing divides the entire Transformers community. As for why their voices change, I would say they slowly upgrade over time. Orion Pax is fundamentally different than Optimus Prime. It's just like the Matrix of leadership upgrades him. I don't know what goes on with Megatron. I'm assuming it's something because in one shot he does find the tomb of Megatronus.
Yeah.
One of the 13 primes. Also, we noticed that Arachnid and the Viacons from Transformers Prime is there, which also that means the best Transformer out of all of them, Steve the Aerial Bot, is in this. You just always notice there's one particular Air Viacon in Transformers Prime that's always doing something slightly different than the other drones. That one's Steve. We see that Alpha Trion, for whatever reason in this, is giving them their T-Cogs, meaning they're just stationary Transformers without their T-Cogs. I don't know why stripping them their T-Cogs has anything to do with it, but there's that. Your secondary antagonists are clearly the Quintessons, just redesigned. I think he's getting ready to kill Thunderhawk. We do see for a split second Shockwave, Soundwave, and Starscream. During one of the battle sequences, I think we see Thundercracker. We just see like a lot of like different, and Arachnid is also from Transformers Prime. But this is so far in the past. This could be the Aligned Universe, which is the High Moon Studio games, which leads into Transformers Prime. This could lead into Classic G1. This could lead into the Bayverse. It is so far in the past. It's so... my only complaint about this, and this is literally like a Joe complaint, is Megatron is not a miner / gladiator from the pits of Chaos. He's just like he is a miner in this, I believe, but like they're not like he's slaving away in the pits of Chaos. He's slaving away probably in the Glass City, or trying to build the Glass City of wherever it is. I forget what it's called. With others, I do want some other things in this. I want like some minor GoBot in jokes. Like have Psykill in the background or Leader 1. I'm also fairly certain those two bots that B like has at knife point. I'm fairly certain that's Mirage and Hound, just in pre-war forms.
Threatened at knife hand. This was already here, right? Yeah. It was already here. Sorry. Just to see.
That sounds about right for Mirage. I mean, that man is like about as two-faced as it gets. We have a literal Autobot whose sole goal is to swap bodies into a Decepticon.
That is true, but I mean, that makes me want to watch Rise of the Beast all over again just to get my Transformers fixed. But either way, looks like it's going to be cool. Come September. So before we get to the big anime discussion, we have to quickly go through X-Men Episode 6. Jesus. Joe, I'm gonna let you run with this one first. Your opinions on the latest X-Men 97 episode?
The audio mixing was terrible. Charles lied and psychically altered everyone's memories so he can go screw a bird woman. And the other half of this episode is how Storm got her groove back.
In short,
really, it dawned on me on the second watching that everybody in the world thinks Charles is dead from an assassination attempt. Gone right. And in reality, he just went off to go screw a bird lady. So I'm like, now for those of you that have never read an X-Men comic or new to X-Men in general, this is standard operating modus operandi for Charles. That man is not the upright citizen the original 92 series makes him out to be. This man will backstab the moment he can to make his dream come true. In much ways, he is so much worse than Magneto ever hosted me. Magneto wants to be oppressive, but he's at least straightforward and honest about it.
Oh yeah, Professor X is he's a selective pacifist. I've been saying that, but go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, like I said, he has literally lied to his entire family and the entire world just so he can go get bird booty.
Yeah. Safari?
Meanwhile, like I said, Storm is how she got his groove back. I mean, what was that Twitter thing I saw? It's like, I feel like me again. Forge is dying. This ain't about him.
Exactly. That was petty. I put that in when we clipped the episode today.
God, that was petty.
And that was my thought the whole time. I'm like, Ford just somewhere just laying out on like a plank.
Mm-hmm. She basically Titanicked him. It was reverse Titanic. It's like, shouldn't you go check on the guy? You know, the guy that was helping you, beat your own demons while you're just out here just flying.
Also, does she have the Piccolo clothes beam? Because she just kind of lightning her own 80s outfit onto herself.
Pretty much.
Right.
She Sailor Mooned it. She definitely Sailor Mooned it.
No, that's the Piccolo clothes beam if I've ever seen it. She's getting her clothes in big green clothes at this point.
True, but no, I agree with you about Professor X. I'm like, I said this on Blurred's Eye View. I'm going to say it here. Really and truly, Charles could have solved a lot of problems if he just dropped the Selective Pacifist Act. Like, you're telling me that you have the ability to affect almost every mind in the known universe and choose not to, but do it when you want them to forget about you. And also, spoiler alert, because again, we just discussed exactly what happened on the show. But now that he's going to come back, how are you going to explain this? Because now Storm has seen what happened. Storm has now seen what happened to Genosha. She's coming back, and then you show up, and then what? All is forgiven? Because that just lets me know the next episode is going to be definitely supercharged. Especially Scott, because Scott had his Breaking Bad moment, which again, nobody in the world will blame him for it. But still.
I do have a question. Was anybody's audio really off on Charles throughout most of the episode?
It felt weird at some points. Like, it felt like they didn't get it right until
it was kind of muffled or muted a little?
Give or take, yeah.
It felt like they didn't master it right until he was mentally in people's heads and basically was teaching the class, which apparently we are the ghetto part.
That was the other thing that bothered me. Is midway through that speech he was giving, it felt like his voice actor changed for a hot second.
Mm-hmm. I thought it did, but I didn't. I thought I did, but unfortunately, I didn't go back to research who was voice acting for the episode because that was kind of my idea. But I mean, your guess is as good as mine. I think it might have actually happened. But
I've never, like I said on the show, I never really understood the whole Charles and Lalandra thing because, like, whenever she shows up, it's to try and kill Jean, and then apparently they have this whole affair off screen that I'm supposed to believe in. And then he's just kind of like,
psychic abilities are kind of in tune with each other, so they have like a natural affinity.
And my thing is like he's just like out getting just dog walked in space. Literally told him you can bark later. I'm like, you have mental powers and working legs. Why are you letting everyone talk to you? Why don't you go home? Because even at the end of X-Men, the OG show, it's kind of vague because it's just like, oh, well, Charles is dying in the laundry. She just comes back and is like, well, I called dibs on the body. Peace. And then he's like, well, I'm going to live on in my mind. And then you see that last little mental blast, which I thought he bonded with the ship or something. I had no idea what happened. And then roll credits.
Right. I mean, that would have made more sense, but.
Well, the Watching was powered by that exosuit. They at least explained that.
Yeah.
I'm just you have your powers back and everybody thinks you're dead or at least living out your hospice days in space. Why didn't you go home? And if she's fighting you on it, why isn't she letting you go home? They've come to Earth enough times. Why is it such like a big deal today?
Or better yet, you could have used your influence and just convinced her. But
I think we're all avoiding the biggest issue here. Deathbird said we lived in the Milky Way ghetto.
Yeah. And I'm just like, does he feel indebted to her? Because even when he took over everyone's minds, like, I'm like, did you forget you could do that this whole time?
Right. Although the whole classes in session thing was kind of cool, but the fact that Deathbird did, I'm like, so you just basically called our part of the solar system a Milky Way ghetto and didn't think there'd be no. I mean, really, Charles, you couldn't represent the solar system. I mean,
that was my thing. I'm like, damn, Charles, fight back, like say something. He was like a Kardashian boyfriend. He just took all the slander, and I'm just
pretty
like,
much.
I'm like, you.
This is why they unanimously voted Storm to be the voice of the solar system.
I mean, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that so far. It's like, dang, Charles, you're gonna let her talk about the home system like that? Stop being a pacifist, man. I mean, make her believe she's being hunted or something.
Here's how I looked at this. He's just accepting because eventually that's going to be his sister-in-law, and it's going to be that one sister-in-law he doesn't want coming over, but she's coming over anyways.
Not guess who's coming to dinner, Deathbird.
And then he gets his whole Obi-Wan disturbance in the Force vision from Gambit.
Mm-hmm. Of all people, Gambit. That's the one thing you gravitate to.
But now I'm curious, if we do time travel to fix this, like how does this work now? Because if we go back and undo Genosha, does Charles even come home at this point?
That's a fair point. I'll put it this way. I will pay attention to the intro next time. The intro usually the dead giveaway. Like if there's something in the intro that's going to stand out, that to me would probably where I'll be looking.
It's been Nightcrawler for 2 episodes, and I've been waiting for him to do something.
Yeah, well, outside of seeing his friends and teleporting like he's on ADD, that's pretty much all you get. But
the other thing I wanted to bring up is that this episode also clues us in on a bigger universe in this series. Because we are fighting the Kree. The Shi'ar are fighting the Kree in this. We do get to see Ronan the Accuser. We are aware that the Shi'ar Empire is currently in a mass civil war with the Kree Empire. That's big. That's
and supreme intelligence. So that's a Captain Marvel and a Guardians reference.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
We also get to see the third Summers brother, as useless as Vulcan is half the time.
Damn.
That was another thing. I'm like, so these are just war-torn people doing everything you're against. Why are you here? Like, go home, Chuck.
Pretty much, but that's going to be interesting. That's going to be interesting in the next episode to see what happens when he is home. But yeah, that's pretty much what we're going to from there. So there's a reason why we said our anime chat is going to take a while, because Joe brought it up one day that, we should really look into anime that is, well, let's be honest, there's a lot of it out there. Different genres, different themes, things of that nature. But Joe kind of posed a question that, what about the anime that we like, or anime that we see, or anime that may not be known, and just bring it up to the rest of the world, put some shine to it. So what we decided to do with this episode is come up with a few choices. And I'm going to start with the one that I think we've all seen. Now, I'm first starting with Go-Go Loser Ranger. If you don't know what that is, let me play the trailer for you first before we go into it. At the same time, guys, we will be discussing things of these shows. These are, yes, they may spoil some of these things, but we only do these things. We only talk about these things to encourage you. So again, you're not going to really be missing a lot from these shows. We're just going to discuss why we think you should give them a shot. Okay? So with that being said, we're going to play the trailer for Go-Go Ranger, or Go-Go Loser Ranger. I keep forgetting that part.
10年以上苦楽を共にしたパートナーだからな。しかし、今回のような悲しい出来事が二度と起こらないよう対策を取らせてもらうことにした。つうわけで、昨日裏切ったやつ出てきやがれ。
マンネリは一番危惧すべき問題だよ。
レッド、こんな展開はどうだろうか。しゃ、どうだ、怪人め。
ここ最近ずっとただの戦闘員を倒して終わりだわ。それこそマンネリじゃないかしら。
我ら友人戦隊ドラゴンキーパー。恒例となった日曜決戦には多くの観客が押し寄せ、今からワクワクが止まりません。
開戦から13年、
友人戦隊ドラゴンキーパー VS 悪の怪人軍団。
正義の味方は今日も悪を倒し、世界の平和を守っていた。というのは茶番劇。
もうおしまいだー。ネタ切れだ、ネタ切れ。怪人ぶっ飛ばせ。お疲れ。抵抗しない。言う通りにする。
いい加減割り切ろうぜ。黙ってやられる役はもうごめんだ。
やってやろうぜ。
手を組もう。私と君で。
社会貢献こそが大戦隊の礎です。
たまにはあってもよくないか。怪人が勝つ展開。
正義と悪は誰が決めた？
I
Okay.
didn't realize these were the guys who did Tiger and Bunny, but it makes sense.
Yeah. Gotta catch up. Hey, what's going on? What's going on, Chris? Gotta catch up on the last 2 episodes. Disney Plus just needs to promote these shows they pick up. And of course, I'll see what you said, Joe, as far as where it can be found. But yes, that was a trailer for Go Go Loser Ranger. Now, really quickly, if you want to know the premise of this, think of the fact that if we saw, I'm not gonna say the Power Rangers, but let's be honest, it's pretty much a knockoff of them. They basically manufacture their own danger to the point to where one of the guys you see, which was the bad guy, finally gets fed up. He gets tired of losing, and then there begins the story of really them going after the Dragon Keepers. In this case, they would be the Super Sentai Rangers. Of course, as Joe said, it is available on Hulu. It also is available on Crunchyroll as well. Because Crunchyroll has now become the evil it swore to destroy itself. But anyway, while I'm gonna still throw this around, guys, for all for us to see Go Go Loser Ranger, who wants to start off? Is it your impressions? Is it worth watching? Go ahead, Joe.
So this was my number 2 on my top 5. Its studio is Yoestar Pictures. Its opening is called On the Next Episode by Tatsuya Kitani, and the ending episode is Don't Need the Right Answer by Akira Nanawo, and it is currently only on Hulu, to my knowledge. I don't know if it did actually get put on Crunchyroll.
It is.
Is it really now?
Is it?
It's on Crunchyroll.
I need to check then because I've been watching with commercials for no damn reason.
Yeah, because
I really am digging this. I like to take on the twist on the Power Rangers. I like the fact that the whole skit is the Rangers beat these guys as boss, like, did they say almost close to a decade prior?
Like 10 or 13 years ago.
Yeah, in order to keep making money and maintaining their status, they've been arranging these Sunday shows to where they build the standard audience and put on basically a stage play, a typical Japanese stage show like you always see, and everyone's just, the goons are just getting tired of it because they have no bosses, so they have like no prime directives, so they're just doing it. And I dig the D is just like, we're immortal. We can take these guys out with enough time given. We just need to know how to do it. So I'm really enjoying this.
I like it. I like that they answered that immediately this second episode, though, because that was one. Every reaction was just like, "Why don't we just jump them until they get tired?" And then you find out why.
Right, and that did not end well,
man. And this is, I like to say, it's basically if the Power Rangers were managed by Vaught Industries. That's basically what this is.
Pretty much. Yeah, I mean, pretty much it is, but I can't help it. It's like, most shows, like we keep saying, you want to root for the bad guy. And in this case, I want to root for them because they're not really the bad guys. It's more like you just basically been given the role that you just eventually get to hate, to the point to where you're looking at the other guy, you're going, no, I really want to take you out. And then you get that one guy who just gets fed up. But I'm definitely down for it. It definitely is worth watching. It's definitely worth watching. Also, let me correct myself. It is on the Japanese version of Crunchyroll. I keep forgetting I'm on VPN.
That's what it is.
It is not on the American version of Crunchyroll. It's on the Japanese version. So I apologize. I had to turn my VPN off just to make sure about that. So I correct myself. But it is definitely worth watching just because of the premise of it. There's only 2 episodes of it right now, but again, if you have seen Go Go Loser Ranger, we still want to know what you guys think in the comments. It just looks like it's going to be that fun. But I'm going to switch it over to Joe. Joe, which one of the ones you want to talk about first outside of your picks?
We could talk about Bartender because that's a fairly straightforward one.
Okay, so Joe's pick, correct me if I'm wrong, is Bartender God of Glass. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay, so again, for that one, Joe, you want to explain that one as far as what that's about?
Yeah, so this is Bartender Glass of God. This is by Studio Liber. The opening and ending is both first person by Natural High. Watch on Crunchyroll. This is one of those slice of life ones. Every so often, I get so overly, I indulge myself in a slice of life that just like chill vibes, good music, good fun. It's a cozy. It is definitely a cozy anime. I'll give it that one. This is just about this one hotel is trying to find a bartender for its super high class hotel, and this dude is just like a bartender step above the others who can just like look at a person's like, all right, you've had this kind of a day, you're this kind of a person. Here's a drink for you. Like he immediately analyzes the woman's like, she's like, what do you want? It's like, I want something to get me drunk, but nothing with alcohol in it. She's like, all right, give me a moment. Comes back, here's a bull shot.
I mean, from what I watched of it, I was like, so this is basically Food Wars, but with alcohol. But you have a guy that's just, you kind of have a guy that everybody is trying to emulate, but they're trying to figure out how he comes up with it.
So I don't ever use Food Wars as that analogy because there is no porn to this show or no insinuation of porn in this whatsoever.
I've only seen thumbnails for Food Wars, but I can tell it's not very much about food.
Oh no,
Yes.
nowhere close.
No, this is just straight up. If anything, this actually will probably teach you how to mix a drink. Or
They do. That is one thing I will say. They do kind of go there. They are very descriptive as far as how the process of they come up with the drinks is. So that one I will definitely say. And the fact that they get away with so many labels of known drinks in these episodes, I'm like, how did y'all do this and not get sued?
Oh, they have the Japanese love all sorts of whiskey and Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
I'm surprised we haven't seen a bottle of Jack Daniels in this yet.
Yeah, fair enough. But
so yeah, like I said, this is a nice palate cleansing anime. It's slice of life, nothing fantastical, nothing over the top. It's just like chill, just like chill vibes all the way through.
yeah, I mean, it's something like I said. I know usually for me, slice life animes, I kind of watch when I want something different. As long as it's got a great story, this one really does because you really have one character. You have one of the characters trying to figure out this particular individual, which is kind of a weird senpai thing going. It's like, how is he this freaking knowledgeable and knows exactly what to get? So, I mean, if you haven't seen it, I recommend it. Again, it is definitely worth watching. What did Mr.
That has not gone in your ear yet is amazing.
I know. The original show did end with recipes for the main Dream Beach episode. Would not be surprised if it keeps up. Oh, well, that's cool to know. Did not know that. But no. Aside from that, Safari, did you have a anime, sir, that you wanted to pull up as well?
Yeah, I'll say Kaiju number 8, just because like I've heard good things about the manga, but I saw the show was coming out, so I was like, I'll wait to see what it's about. And so far, I'm glad we're normalizing simul dubs like same week, not what Demon Slayer and everything Attack on Titan was doing, where they were all like 1 to 2 weeks apart. But this is basically Helldivers the anime.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because I hear Kaiju, I was expecting giant mech suits, but I like the fact that they're surface human level people just with armor and equipment to take on these Titans. And the fact that they have a whole cleanup crew department that is designated as like, okay, everything went splat. Now make this disappear in 2 days.
And that's the crazy part. That's kind of where the story starts. Where again, it's like the main antagonist is basically a part of the cleanup crew that actually is behind the 3rd Division, which is basically the Kaiju extermination forces. Not to give anything away, he does get a new recruit, and in typical twist fashion, they do get attacked by a kaiju, which you think it's going to be the end for the guy, and then he gets saved by the new recruit, only to turn around and basically get assimilated. I guess the best way you could say he gets assimilated at the end of the episode by a kaiju, and then next thing you know, he gets turned into one. So that was an interesting twist to the end of the first episode. It's only been 1 episode out so far, but I'm hooked on the fact that it's giving. I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to figure out the best way of comparisons. It is like Helldivers, but it's also a little bit of shoot. I want to say Berserk and Full Metal, but I could be overly gross stepped in that. But it's definitely worth watching. But Joe, have you had a chance to watch Kaiji number 8?
I've been reading this since it came out in Shonen Jump, so I'm so far ahead. I'm like, I don't even need to watch this. I know what's going to happen.
Also, a reiteration of why you shouldn't be a tryhard on the clock.
Why you should do more than what you should have?
Yeah, because the fact is like, well, nobody else wanted to do it, and we knew he wouldn't say no. So have fun. I'm like, see, this is why you give minimal effort to whatever company you work for.
That's a fair point, but I'm just looking forward to the next episode going to be that the fact.
There we go. This is basically just Earth Defense Force.
I can see that. I can see that too. A bit Parasite or Tokyo Ghoul mix. Yeah, thank you. That's a better comparison. Parasite or Tokyo Ghoul mixed with Earth Defense Force. Yeah, I can go with that. But it is still definitely worth watching if you haven't already seen it. Let's see. If I had to be one, I think for the one I picked. Let's see here. Windbreaker. That was another one.
I've been hearing about this one too, but I will catch y'all because I have to take my sister to the Spy Family movie. I've had to binge 2 seasons in the last 5 days, so I have to Code White now.
All right. Well, we understand, Safari Man, and we'll catch you on the flip side. You're definitely going to enjoy Code White. I can tell you that much.
I like the show so far. I'm hooked now. Anya's voice took some getting used to, but it grew on me.
Oh, you're going to love it. You're going to love it. Trust me.
All right,
we'll catch you on the flip side, man. But Windbreaker was probably the ones that I picked was interesting in itself just because it reminds me of rival schools. It also reminds me of a little bit of Tokyo Revengers. It is an action anime for a guy that just got transferred to what was quote unquote the worst school in Japan because it's basically a school built on strength, showing your strength and fighting skills. But come to find out that the town is full of rival gangs and that this particular group actually protects the town, and actually how he ran into them was actually fighting a rival gang on his own. And that's how he found out about the Windbreakers. Now, again, there's only been 2 episodes out of this. This was actually out on Crunchyroll, especially on the American side, so I can definitely tell you that already. But yeah, I really liked it. As far as it definitely had action. It definitely has a story worth listening to. But Joe, what about you? What'd you think of it?
Episode 3 dropped, I think, yesterday or today.
Okay, so we're up to 3 episodes then. Okay.
Yep. So Windbreaker, this is by Studio Cloverworks. Opening is sung by Notori, who I actually really like on Spotify. Song is called Absolute Zero. The ending is called Muteki, which is unbeatable. That is sung by Young Key, and it is currently on Crunchyroll. I really like this because this reminds me of one of my old favorite Japanese movies when I was in my mid-20s called Crow Zero, or Crows and Crow Zero 2, and then the third movie was Crows Explode.
I knew I was forgetting something. I meant to watch that, but I'm sorry. Go ahead, Joe.
This is literally verbatim the Crow's plot. The twist on this is that the town actually likes them. But other than that, the main character is basically Genji from Crows, whose only purpose is to become the #1 spot. Getting compared to Tokyo Revengers, but they were claiming that this one is better than Tokyo Revengers. Well, Tokyo Revengers has that weird time travel plot twist and whatnot, and then it kind of goes south towards the end of it. If this one can keep up the momentum it's got in the 3 episodes, because April can be very short in terms of anime seasons, I can see this definitely being better than it. This kid already, I'm digging it, because like I said, this just reminds me of Crows. That's one of my favorite, all-time Japanese movies and mangas. I like I like the twist. I like that he's like a, whatever they call him, Sundres or whatever. He gets embarrassed when anybody shows him praise, and lashes out. He goes to like a whole school of basically, yes, that's probably why not a lot of people. That's right. Tokyo Revengers met the same fate as How I Met Your Mother. The ending screwed it up.
Yeah.
So this is just, I just like the plot twist. I like that I know what I'm watching, and then it like throws that very subtle curve of, oh no, everybody likes these guys, and this school is just one of many schools of delinquents.
Mm-hmm.
And the only difference between the main dude from Crows, who's the main adversary, and this dude, and the dude who's the strongest dude in school, is that one likes to play mahjong, and this one likes to garden.
Right. But no, it is definitely, like I said, between Windbreakers, it is definitely worth watching. And it's kind of amazing that it's one of those ones that it doesn't really get the same shine as My Hero or Bleach or any of the other animes that hit. But again, we're talking about ones that really should get a second look at. And again, we want to know in the comments what you guys think. I know, Elizabeth, you said that your anime list is a little bit long. Mr. Max, I know you're definitely watching it. But yeah, we want to know what you guys think of these animes. And if you have some animes yourself, definitely put them out there because we want to know what you guys think as well. But I got to go with this one, Joe, for a second. Oblivion Battery. You know, I am one to love just because Joe has turned me on to Nohime Ippo, which is a boxing anime. Again, if you haven't seen it, if you're like me, you're gonna get hooked. But Oblivion Battery, the first time I actually heard about this, I was like, that's a weird name for a sports anime. So I actually had to go look the trailer up for it. So again, the trailer for this, I'm not saying the name doesn't match up with the anime, but again, before Joe you explain it, here's the trailer for it.
はるかは勝ち続けなきゃいけない。負けた相手のことをいちいち考えるな。全部忘れろ。大丈夫。心配すんな。お前を一人にはさせない。俺も共犯者になってやるよ。あり？君誰だっけ？
いやありえないよ。パッと見清峰遥と要系に見えるけど、ここ野球部ないし彼らは名門私立に特別推薦もらいまくってたじゃないか。I am always 要系。Welcome to meet you. 頭悪くない？野球部入ってくれませんか？
一番ショート、東堂葵様だ。覚えとけこの野郎。
一番セカンド、千早俊平です。こんなすごいメンツが集結して、これって運命だと思うんですよ。
みんなでやると野球も割と楽しいかもね。
俺の球で思い出させてやるよ。野球の楽しさ。
Okay, so that was the trailer, guys, for Oblivion Battery. As you can see, it's available on Crunchyroll. It's interesting, but Joe, do you want to give the description on what the anime is about?
Okay, so for those that don't follow sports, I don't follow sports much either, but I've seen enough sports anime where I am adequate in my explanation, especially with baseball, because good God, does Japan have a lot of baseball anime.
Mm-hmm.
From Major to Ace of Diamond, there is no shortage. So a battery is the team of a pitcher and a catcher. And the reason why this is called Oblivion Battery is because the catcher comes with, and I can't believe I get to say this, and this is actually the case, comes down with an explosive case of amnesia. I kind of wish we had the Futurama clip of that, of explosive case of amnesia to go with it, but Calculon's explosive case of amnesia. But the catcher gets amnesia, and despite overcoming all his brattiness and whatnot, reverts back to his a previous form of himself before he became hyper disciplined and analytical and becomes like a hilarious jokester. A hilariously bad jokester, to which his best friend, being the ever straight man, makes this even funnier.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the stereotypical let's build a baseball team and go to the COSN or the high school championship league. But we're going to have a good comedic time in this because we got to get the dude with amnesia back on the ball, as it were, and everything. And I just really enjoyed it. It's a good premise. I mean, baseball animes are like I said, one practically everywhere in anime right now.
Mm-hmm.
But it takes something special, like set it apart from the others, and this has a good twist to it. Plus, it's Studio Mappa, so you know that like those different animation and that Sakuga is going to be like top tier. So when we get like a home run and them running the bases, that's going to be like the smoothest animation outside of watching an episode of One Piece when Luffy goes against who did he go up against in Gear 5 recently? Oh, Lucci.
Oh, Lucci.
That the Lucci Awaken versus Luffy Gear 5 fight. It's going to be about that same level of animation.
No, don't get me wrong. I agree with you on this too. Because again, I don't try to get into the sports animes, especially on this side, outside of a few ones. This look, it's going to be pretty good. So yeah, I agree. It's the whole thing of explosive case of amnesia, and then you basically talk the guy to like, you can throw harder than that. And when he finally does, it's like, oh, it's coming back to me now. I'm like, I think you got hit. That's all I'm saying. But
I think he did. Let me think. What other stats do I got on this? The opening is Lilac, sung by Miss Applegreen. If you're familiar with them, they are the ones that did the opening theme for Fire Force Season 1.
Mm-hmm.
Ending theme is Forgotten Song by Macaroni and Patsu. And yeah, it's over at Crunchyroll.
Yep. Which again is a spot where all things seem to be getting consumed. I did see Lizzie, you did put one ID Invaded. If I remember right, that's basically about the anime where a guy, he's a detective that enters the killer's mind to solve the case, if I'm correct about that. I had to really look that up if I'm right about that. But yeah, that's another one. I'll find a trailer for it momentarily and see about playing that one. But yeah, but moving right along as far as the choice we got, I know Tafari had to go because he has to go see Code White, which he's gonna love. But I just wanted to go over his picks that he had. He, like me, we're all waiting for this one. Fire Force. We're waiting on season 3, but if you have not seen Fire Force, it is available on Crunchyroll. It is available on Hulu. The first 2 seasons. If you don't know about it, think of it in the world where you're basically fighting infernals, which are people that have just basically had their souls burned out and they're just walking fire demons. Their job is to actually literally put them out, as far as having certain powers of fire telekinesis, or using plasma weapons, or some guys on just brute sheer strength. The main character is definitely how can I put this so nicely? He's like Goku if Goku wasn't a Saiyan and he was a regular individual, that would basically be Sho. And again, I'm not mad about him. I love the main character. And also just the other characters are surrounding him. And I'm not trying to give too much away because we'll spend the next 2 hours if I was going over the full story of Fire Force. But the manga itself, I'm not caught up on. I know Joe is definitely caught up on that. But again, it definitely is worth watching. What'd you say? I possibly yelped a little because I so badly want to see season 3. Don't we all? And scared your husband. I apologize for that. Fire Force, the sort of sequel to Soul Eater. Yeah, I can see that. But Joe, any thoughts on Fire Force?
Just waiting for season 3.
Yeah.
This is the final season, right?
They didn't say. I want to say yes, but I'm not 100% sure about that. I'm not sure if this is going to be the final season or not, considering that the manga is not finished, isn't it?
I mean, it was the manga's finished. I kind of like tuning it out of this one because there are like certain characters I just cannot stand in this series. As useful as they are, like I just can't do it. We're trying not to spoil how this works out in the ending since Will's not been caught up on the manga, guys. So please don't post spoilers, especially about certain things.
Please, please and thank you. But no, I'm just going to catch up on it. But yes, I think we're all waiting for season 3. And also, really quickly, guys, Spy Family, which again, Tafari is now going to go see the first OVA, Spy Family Code White, that is currently out in theaters right now. If you have not seen Spy Family, if you are a fan of great stories and action, it is definitely should be on your list to watch, especially Anya. Anya is the most adorable little telepathic homicidal person you could ever meet. Not homicidal in the way that, she wants people to get ended. It's the way she actually thinks about it. And also the dog named Watson, which is really interesting. The dog's name is Watson. But between the parents, one is a spy and one is an assassin. I'm pretty sure you can figure out which is which. But it is definitely fun. It's definitely fun to watch that show just because the whole premise is literally about stopping one ongoing mission. At the same time, you have two people who are just as Lloyd and Val, who just seem to be completely confused about each other, while Anya's trying to keep everybody together. But it is definitely worth watching if you ever get a chance. It's Spy Family movie, something I have to watch the other season to understand. Nope. It is a completely standalone OVA. It happens the way the Code White story actually happens. It's within the current season of Spy Family, so you don't really have to go back and watch Spy Family to understand it. You will be able to enjoy the movie as it is. So definitely don't have to go back and watch it.
Watching the series is going to do is help you know who's who for like secondary characters.
Pretty much. But as far as Code White, no, you don't have to watch the anime to go back and understand it. But again, it's great. No issues with that. But yeah, definitely should watch it. But Joe, any thoughts on anything you want to add to that?
I mean, it's just a good one. Again, it's just a good Shonen Jump anime. We get 2 of those this season. We get Kaiju number 8 in this one.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm not going to complain. They're always entertaining. They know what they're doing.
Yeah. Oh, they always know what they're doing. And before I get Tafari's last one, again, was Dr. Stone. Now, I'm going to admit about Dr. Stone. Dr. Stone now has 3 seasons out. The first season was great. I love the fact that the whole thing about the world turning to stone, and then he himself somehow got out of it. At the same time, he's trying to recreate the world being one of the smartest men alive, literally. But the whole first season was really just about him trying to recultivate civilization, while you had the other side of the world with the protagonist that believes that the chosen were the only ones that are reawakened and it should remain that way. But it is definitely interesting if you're into science, if you're into MacGyver-ish type of shows, I guess you could call it. But definitely it was worth watching. Now, granted, I haven't seen Stone Wars, which is the second season. I've heard great things about it. I'm eventually going to watch it, but it does go for Stone Wars into the next season, which is season 3. But it is great. It is definitely great to watch. But what do you guys say? Dr. Stone, basically the anime that took a tagline from the Martian as Personal Challenge. Yep. You are not lying. It definitely, if you're a science nerd. You know what? I'll go as far as say if you're just curious. I mean, yes, if you're a science nerd, you're going to love it. But I'll even go so far as say if you are just flat out curious, you're going to love it. But again, like I said, I still got to catch up on Stone Wars myself. But what about you, Joe?
I prefer Beakman's World.
Damn. Wait. Wasn't Beakman's World? Well, no. The Wonderful World of Mr. Wizard and Beakman's World were not at the same time. I was going to say. No, Beakman's World and Bill Nye were relatively close.
Pretty close. Mr. Wizard was old school Nickelodeon back when it was like that and Pinwheel and Today's Special. Yeah,
that is true. But before we get to Joe's next one, I did find that ID Invaded trailer. Lizzie, before I play it, should I be warned? Because I have not seen this trailer. So Again, this trailer is again an anime that Lizzie has recommended called ID Invaded. Again, viewer discretion is advised because I'm not sure what's in this trailer.
俺は名探偵としてこのカエルちゃんの死の謎を解かなくてはならない。何なんだこの世界は。
俺は誰だ。俺は誰だ。井戸に入れるのは殺人を犯したやつだけだ。
こんな機械で人の殺意を採取できるなんて。
そんなところで活躍する名探偵がまともなはずねえだろ。
けど思い出せ。俺は生き残るためにここにいるんじゃない。
カエルちゃん助けたかったのに。
坂井戸ならそうしてあげられるだろう。名探偵だから絶対に。
連続殺人犯アナーキの情報をアナーキ自身の殺意の世界から読み取るんだ。はい。
ここから入った風がこっちに抜けるとき、世界は少し綺麗になる。
カエルちゃん、俺はこの子を知らないが名前だけはわかる。この子の名前を思い出したことで俺は自分のことも理解する。俺の名は坂井戸。大事なのは俺が名探偵であること。そして俺はこの子カエルちゃんの死の謎を解かねばならないということだ。
Okay. So that is interesting. What do you say? Okay, so good job. I like that. I like that, Liz. I really do. What'd you say? I finished it a day and a half because I had COVID in January. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Let's see. This sounds more like a game that was scheduled for a Switch release. It might have been. Might have been. I'm not gonna lie about that. I'm gonna have to add that to my list. So I was trying to think. Wasn't there I guess when there was a TV show or a movie about the fact that someone goes into the mind of a killer to solve a murder, and I'm like, I've heard that premise before, but not in an anime version. But ID Invaded looks great. I'm not gonna lie about that. That makes me definitely want to watch it. Joe, any thoughts about that?
I feel like this is some sort of part of an Ace Attorney series I haven't played.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised, but it does look pretty cool as far as that goes. But excuse me. But to get to Joe's other pick, I'm happy if I pronounce this right. Konosuba, is that right, Joe?
Yep, Konosuba, season 3. God, I missed this series. I have never laughed so hard. We have a trailer for this, right? That way you understand what's going on?
We do.
God bless.
この世の春が来たと思ったこともありました。勘違い。
By the way, this is like mildly inappropriate for kids.
出家しようと思う。はぁ？俺は冒険者から坊さんにジョブチェンジすんの。俺の決心はあの岩山よりも硬いの。
豆腐よりも柔らかメンタルのカズマさんが言っても選択力ないんですけど。カズマの決心など打ち砕いてあげますよ。エクスプロージョン。仮にも私は貴族だぞ。あんな格好で
隠れてニヤニヤしてたくせに。
してやる。
父さん、母さん、意外と早く孫の顔を見せることができるかもしれません。落ち着いてくれよ。俺は一人しかいないんだから。風、太陽。男ってのはな、越えちゃいけないなんて言われる壁があると越えたくなるものなんだ。
また冒険話を聞かせてくれますか？
All right, so that was the trailer for Konosuba Season 3, God's Blessing on This Wonderful World. So, Joe, in case anybody's got any questions, you want to explain or fill them in on what's it about?
Okay, so this is one of those isekai animes, but this is actually good. So, dude's in need who accidentally dies, gets sent to the goddess for reincarnation. She asks him, like, I'll give you any weapon you want, but you're kind of a loser. Your life kind of sucked, and you're here by accident because you didn't even need to die. So his retribution, because he's a petty little asshole. He says, all right, I picked the goddess. So now she's stuck with him with greatly depowered. Midway through, they find a crusader, which is your basic shield type. Unfortunately, she's a masochist. And that's the only reason she became a crusader. So she could take damage. And then they run up again. Then they run up against a little girl who's from a clan of wizards, who was literally founded by an actual edgelord, who can only use one magical spell, and then she's pretty much has to be carried around the whole time. And it's one of the most highly overrated spells in the thing of explosion magic. To the point where they go and let her do explosion magic continuously on a hill. Well, you learn she keeps blowing up one of the demon general's castles on a continuous basis. Who the demon general was like, I'm chill with this beginning town being right here. They're no threat to me. And I gotta think, well, he gets really tired of his castle being blown up. And then there's the movie where things get very inappropriate, hilariously so. This is a wonderful comedy anime, like just absolutely hilarious comedy anime.
Nice,
so good.
Now I actually did watch a few episodes. It does take a while it took a while for me to grow on me, but I really do like it. We'll continue to watch that. Read or Die or Chrono Crusade are my retro picks. Ooh, Gurren Lagann, also a good one too. But yeah. Konosuba is definitely going to be added to my list to read and just to watch and follow that. Now I gotta get back to Mr. Final Max because he took me back. It took me a while to find it, but I did find it because Tekkaman Blade. Oh wow, that is another anime that again I didn't think got a lot of attention when it first came out because he did come back out in the early 90s, I think 1991, 1992, but. Again, for all those that know what he's talking about, I just want to play the quick trailer for this so everybody got an idea. 'Now, for all those that don't know, or you're not as seasoned as me and Joe are, or Mr. Final Max, this is one of the earlier animes that did follow the Robotex, the Macross, the Escaflones, pretty much for breaking two microphones during. Dang, I did not know that. But yeah, take a minute. But Mr. Final Max is actually right. This did come on UPN back in the 90s because that's where I remember it. So if you are a fan of mecha type animes, you were probably watching this as a kid. If you haven't, and of course it's your first time viewing it, you should definitely go back and definitely watch that. But yeah, it was, man, I used to love that one. And the fact that Technoman Reforged. But what you said, Joe?
You can also play as one of the Tekkaman and Tatsunoko Studios versus Capcom.
Really?
Think so. I think he's one of the playable characters in Tatsunoko versus Capcom.
Nice. Okay.
Now, now that we're doing retro picks, we're going to be pulling out the old man anime cards here because, to me, peak anime had already occurred between the years of 1970 through 1990. All the stuff we're getting now, it's just anime. It's just anime that I have seen, but with different names. I can't tell you how many times I've seen Saint Seiya. I've seen it when it was called Ronin Warriors. I've seen it when it was called Dragon Ball Z. I'm still seeing it now. So let's look at one of my personal favorite, which I just don't think gets enough love. And this is where my love of, that's it. Love of real robots comes in.
How do you pronounce that? Pat Labor?
Pat Labor.
Oh, Pat Labor. Gotcha. All right, we'll play it.
We are going to get copyright strike on this episode. Now,
okay.
The TV series, and this does have some OVA movies, those are not considered in continuity. But the way I always look at this thing is the TV series are the good days at work, because this is about law enforcement. Just instead of cop cars, you get like about medium-sized mechs and whatnot. The OVAs are the bad days for the police officers at work. Like they get some it gets some dark stuff, but this is mostly because it's by Mamoru Oshii, who's known for Ghost in the Shell. So when stuff gets real, it gets real bad real quick.
Yeah.
So, God, I miss Pat Labor. I mean, I only have it on DVD, but I want the Blu-ray. I mean, I could just buy it all on Amazon Prime. They got the full series on there, I think.
Okay. So I mean, I'm gonna keep that in mind. But before we get to our final anime review of the night, Lizzie, you did point out Gurren Lagann. Now, again, Gurren Lagann is another one that, it did well. It got attention, but it didn't really get attention. It really should got a lot more attention, really. But if you haven't seen Gurren Lagann, here's the trailer for it as well, which again, I mean, if you like over the top, no nonsense anime, this is definitely gonna be up your alley.
Digging tunnels, day after day, that's my job. The more we dig, the more the village can expand.
Ew, look, it's Simo the Digger. He's so gross. And he smells.
This village is all we have. For untold generations, we've been warned to never unseal the canopy that keeps us safe. This mysterious surface of yours doesn't exist.
Like hell it doesn't. I've seen it myself. Look up. That's the surface. This big mug fell from the surface, from above the ceiling. Youth of this town, aim for the surface! Yahoo! Step aside, make way. Team Gren is coming through.
All right, you two, you better get back.
Something else from above? Adios, Jiha Village. We're going up to the surface. Who the hell hell are you?
Commander Vero, the Human Eradication Forces eliminate all humans who come to the surface.
Let's go! Open fire!
What are you doing? You could have been killed!
How long are you gonna keep running, Simon? Now's the time to cast off the boy you used to be. It's now or never.
Listen, Simon, don't believe in yourself.
Huh? Believe in me. Believe in the Kamina who believes in you. Brotherly combining! Gurren Lagann! Just who the hell do you think I am?
That brings back memories. Dang it, Lizzie, you beat me to it. Yeah, but the memories. Because I know what happened to him. I know. For all those that don't know, Gurren Lagann is really an over-the-top anime, but it's an odd one. Thank you, Mr. Final Max. It is an odd duck. Did not realize that. Had to go through 2 comics before getting the English release because Bubbles burst around that time. Did not know that. But if you haven't seen Gurren Lagann, you really should. It falls into that over-the-top Gundam-esque because they call their mechas gunmen, which is, a play off of Gundam, but still, the story itself is pretty good. I think it only had 2 seasons, but definitely worth watching if you do like just stuff that doesn't make any sense or just off the bat funniness. There's a little lewd, there's a little bit of lewd, but not that much. A little crude humor, but still worth watching if you ever get a chance. But Joe, anything you want to add to Gurren Lagann?
I didn't like it. It was so over the top I couldn't get into it.
Yeah, fair enough. But let's see. Yeah, that part. Believe in your dreams, no matter how. Yeah, that was the theme I got from Gurren Lagann. Believe in your dreams, no matter how ridiculous it is. But man, the confidence. But our final pick of the night, guys. And oh, by the way, thank you, Final Max and Lizzie for the anime suggestions. We really appreciate that. The last one that we do have tonight, guys. Bungo Stray Dogs. Now, again, this is one of the ones where it's a little bit weird, but it's actually one of those, like I said, it was one of those ones that I came across that I think really should have got more attention because it does have an interesting story. If Sherlock Holmes and Psycho-Pass had a baby, this would basically be it. But for all those that never seen it, here's the trailer for Bungo Stray Dogs. And again, it's had 5 seasons, but still definitely worth watching.
大気ひしめくこの街をエンジン揃いの探偵車これより始まる怪奇探これが先触れ前兆し君施設の出会い
でというか追い出されたんです。何のお仕事？
なーに探偵だよ
異能集団武装探偵社といえば聞いたことがあるのではないか
実はもう決めてあるこれからどうするつもりだい死を恐れよ殺しを恐れよ死を望む者等しく死にそう来なくては
中島敦
善良な者がいつでも助かるわけではない
僕は違うと思う
So that was a very, I apologize. The trailer was a little choppy, but I apologize for that. But that was basically Bungo Stray Dogs. Again, for all those who don't know, it's basically about a group of paranormal detectives that basically investigate the supernatural in the city. The orphan, or I should say the main character, was an orphan that he himself has powers but did not know about it, and now joins this crew as they take on cases. So as someone put it ever so nicely, it's Scooby-Doo with powers. And I'm like, that's a very accurate description. That's the best way I could put that. But it is definitely worth watching. There are 5 seasons. There's 5 seasons already out. So would highly recommend, if you haven't had a chance to actually sit down and watch it, you definitely should. It is available on Crunchyroll. I'm not 100% sure if it's on Hulu or not, but I definitely do know it's on Crunchyroll. But definitely worth watching. But what do you say, Mr. Final Max? And the crew that made Gurren Lagann went on to form Studio Trigger, you can tell. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, that would explain a lot. But yeah, it is definitely an anime worth watching. But Joe, any thoughts on that?
This reminds me of a show called Get Backers, but with a bigger cast.
Get Backers? What was Get Backers about?
Same thing. Investigators with mildly supernatural powers. You just have a larger cast than Bungo.
Gotcha. But yeah, that's definitely, like I said, not to give away a lot of the story, because like I said, I'm still in the middle of season 1, so I don't want to spoil it for you as far as where I am in the anime, but would recommend, if you ever have a chance, you should definitely watch it. Or if you're like Lizzie and myself and others, our anime lists are getting a little bit on the too long side. So again, this whole thing about tonight was just bringing animes that you may not know about, or just new ones that don't get a lot of attention. But that was the whole premise of tonight with our anime chat, was to bring up animes that really should get a lot more attention. But aside from that, let's see. Want to cry how long it is? No, but no, that's really, I think, is that all the anime picks that we had, Joe?
Yep. I mean, trust me, I can give you more. That's not hard.
No, we may want to revisit this another time. We don't want to knock everybody down, but no. But again, thank you everybody that actually did participate in this. And again, we want to know your opinions. Like I said, this is not just because of us just giving our picks. We also want to know you guys' picks, just like Lizzie and just like Mr. Final Max did. We want to know you guys' picks, or just anime that you love seeing. Maybe it could be an older anime. As you can see, we have no problem going back and forth across the spectrum. So again, we want to know in the comments. Again, we're going to definitely check these later for our next anime chat we bring up. That going into these, like I said, there's some animes that Joe has brought up, that Safari has brought up, that I haven't seen or just am curious about. So again, this is all about sharing our fandoms, as we always say on the show. But as we kind of get this up, do we want to cover comics this week, Joe? Because I know
we can save it for next week.
You want to save it for next week? Okay.
We can save it for next week. It's already 10:15.
Oh wow, it is. Well, in that case, guys, we still do want to show love to Rick's Comic City. They do support us here at Get Bit. We do want to support them here. So if you are in the Middle Tennessee area, definitely check them out. As they have 2 locations in Nashville and Clarksville, Tennessee. They also have rickscomiccity.com, to where you can go online and buy your comic books, order your pull list, do your graphic novels, Kip Garth, things of that nature. Let them know the people at Get Bit sent you. It doesn't get you any discounts, but you get to see our handsome mugs on their television screens. So definitely show them love, because we show them love at Rick's Comic City here in Middle Tennessee. If you are not in the Middle Tennessee area, we still say it all the time, guys. Support your local libraries, support your local comic book stores. I understand it is way too easy to go to Amazon. It's way too easy to go to Barnes and Noble. It's way too easy to go to any place with a Starbucks, because again, digital copies and just ordering it just seems to be easier and convenient. I get it. I understand it. But there's something about just going to your local comic book store and going for the experience. It's something about going to your local library and going for the experience. Kids, if you ever do watch this podcast, me and Joe and others say this all the time. Right now, there's something going on that's preventing you from reading books. We tell you all the time, read the banned books. Just because there's something in those books that you should know that they don't want you to find out about. And we say it all the time, guys, read the banned books. There's something about them. that again, you're going to be better for it. So if you are in the Middle Tennessee area, definitely check out Rick's Comic City. If you are not in the Middle Tennessee area, support your local comic book stores, support your local libraries. You will miss them when they're gone. So as we wrap this up, guys, Joe, you want to let people know what you'll be doing and where they can find you, sir?
Joe, Italian last name on Twitch. If I decide to stream something, Show Guy Joe over on TikTok. I guess I'll put something out at some point again. Show Guy Joe, as soon as I learn editing, I'll be able to put out videos a bit more consistently, but also right now, April is a very hectic time for me because there's a lot of like family birthdays going on back to back, so I very rarely have downtime.
Oh yeah, you did say that last podcast. You have a each one of your relatives has a birthday right after each other this month.
Yeah. It's why there's like been no video activity on the channel. It's like I can't get any downtime to watch anything, or plus I'm learning how to actually edit things together, and that's going slowly, so slowly.
Okay, fair enough.
Flash and Zootopia slowly.
I still go back and want to watch your streams on Street Fighter just because it's interesting to watch people literally get mad that they can't break your combo.
Street Fighter or Tekken?
Street Fighter. You had one character on Street Fighter 6 that had a toss. You kind of had a toss and grab. Yeah, you did a toss and grab move they couldn't break, and then you can see the one actually rage quit, and you actually had it on stream. But you can definitely check him out there. As for myself, guys, again, before I get to myself, shameless plugging as usual. Shout out to Vaughn at BigVZA. For anything regarding beats for shows, podcasting of that nature, definitely check him out. I cannot stress this enough, guys. Please check out Blurred Station. It is the moving vehicle to where blurs and people of color can actually have a home to where we can not only own our content, but we can distribute our content for movies, for television shows, for animes, for almost everything there. Definitely check it out. It is $10.99 a month. If you do join, please select the Blurred's Eye View Affinity membership. And again, $10.99 a month for 36 months, guys, will give you the ability to own a piece of Blurred Station. I don't know about you, but the ability to own a piece of a media conglomerate without paying a buttload of money or going through E-Trade sounds a whole lot better. So definitely check out blurredstation.com. As for myself, guys, you can find me Black_Spartan615 on all the socials as I do reviews on everything. The link at the bottom, I'll make that a little bit bigger for you guys to see. If you copy and paste that link into your browser, it'll take you to my link tree. There's YouTube and Facebook groups for all the podcasts. All the fact we got here, Get Bit and Off Limits Podcast. Like, share, subscribe. Simply put, guys, we cannot do this without your support. Your support means the world to us. A like, a share, a follow costs nothing and takes a second of your time. That is all we ask of you because, again, we want to basically make this show bigger. But again, much like PBS, we cannot do this without you. And much like our shows, guys, they can be found wherever podcasts can be seen or heard. So definitely, guys, check us out, reshare us, spread the word. And again, if you do want to be on this show, let us know either via our socials, either me at Black_Spartan615 or Joe at Short Guy Joe. We would love to have you on, guys, because simply put, we want to do more than just show you new things. We want to be able to discuss them with you as well. So with that being said, we will probably be back here next Friday, same Get Bit time, same Get Bit channel with news of the week and things of that nature. But as we wrap this up, guys, Joe, any last words you want to have before we call it a night, sir?
No, I'm good.
All right. But with that being said, guys, what we usually say at the end of Give It Podcast is we love fandoms. We love them. We share them. We discuss them. We have debates about them, arguments about them. What we don't want, guys, is toxic gatekeeper. We don't want people downing other people just because their tastes are different, or you may like something someone doesn't like. It is completely fine to have disagreements, but it's not fine to sit there and shut people down, whether it's cosplay, whether it's anime, whether it's video games, whether it's anything in the world of pop culture and blurty and nerdiness. We are all about acceptance. We are all about invitation. We're all about bringing people in because that's how experiences happen. That's how friendships happen. And the words of Will Wheaton, the one thing I always say whenever it comes to basically being a blurred or a nerd, enjoy what someone else has, enjoy what you have, be able to share it, and simply put, don't be a dick about it. That being said, guys, thank you all for watching Get Bit tonight, guys. We will have the replay back up sometime tomorrow. He's been Joe. I've been Will. This has been the Get Bit podcast for tonight, guys. Again, share, be kind, enjoy April. That was a terrible send-off. Thank you all for watching, guys. Take care of yourselves and each other. And again, we'll all get through this. Don't be a dick. Peace.